Okay, take 873. So, um, today I just really kind of wanted to go over quickly my political philosophy, basically, just nice quick overview. Uh, Mostly this is just to help me sort of put my thoughts in order and also learn to express myself better while at the same time getting comfortable talking to a damn camera. Uh, which I am not, if that's not obvious. So, basically, my political philosophy is you deserve to never be hungry. Um, no matter what happens, no matter what choices you make, no matter what happens around you, those situations that are beyond your control, which is like 99% of life, no matter what happens, you deserve that security, that comfort of knowing that you are not going to go hungry, that the society around you is such that it values you so much as an individual that it will make sure you never go hungry. And so that would also go for everyone you love. Your kids, if you have kids, don't worry, they will never starve. You will never have to lay awake at night thinking, how am I going to feed my kids? Um, your parents, your grandparents, your, you know, brothers, sisters, friends, uh, social media. Um, I don't know what would you call that? Soulmates. I mean, there's there's a lot of people all over the world that are finding each other over social media. I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go way off on a sidetrack here, but you meet some great people online along with trash. Anyway, so they all, even the trash, they deserve, because simply by the fact that they exist, the value, the basic value of an individual's human's existence is worth whatever it costs the society to ensure they never go hungry. Uh, and you can expand that out. They should always, of course, have access to clean, healthy, safe drinking water. Um, Excuse me, I've been drinking coffee. It's kind of. So they also deserve, access to safe, clean place to live. Um, and again, like the cost to society to make sure these things are in place for everyone is nothing compared to the cost to society for not doing so. And as the ultimate proof of that, look around. Like, look at everything, the way everything has gone for the entirety of my existence, at least, is proof that the cost to society of not making sure you are taking that stress off the individual is, I mean, look at our society. It's just, and I don't know. Is it socialism? Is it communism? Is it blah, blah, blah? I don't really care what it's called. I really don't. I mean, I tend to refer to myself as a socialist. I definitely have some communist leanings, and there's some many communists that I have learned a lot from, really appreciate. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a communist. Maybe I'm not. I don't really care. I just want you to eat. I'm definitely not a capitalist. So you could say anti-capitalist would probably be the most um, obvious and clear statement about where I stand on that. But I mean, and it really, what it comes down to is you cannot have healthy individuals in a sick society. Like, society will contaminate them. By the time you are old enough to understand and begin to make your own decisions, you are already severely, severely diminished by the society around us. Um, and so, if you happen to be a comparing and compassionate individual, if you are still holding on to that, bravo, because it ain't easy. It probably came with years of depression and even suicidal depression and severe heartache and just constant heartache, really. Um, but so you cannot have an healthy individuals in an unhealthy society. So this whole idea of pull up yourself up by your bootstraps is just the dumbest thing ever. Besides the fact that, I mean, try it. Sit down on the floor, put on your shoes, and try lifting yourself up by your bootstraps. It's a literal impossibility, and it is also just ridiculous as a metaphor because for most people, society took their bootstraps when they were born. I mean, really, by the time you're, 12 years old, by the time you really start having concepts of self and trying to figure things out, your bootstraps are gone, man. They're gone. Society just, yeah. Okay, so, um, and it's impossible because you have the entire weight of society, of all this sickness, of all this illness, um, just weighing down on you. So even if it were possible to stand up as an individual, like the massive amount of weight, these companies with billions of dollars in resources that can only exist in combination with poverty, like payday loaning industry, for one example, and even most of the normal banking industry, when you look at how they make profit off the poor, it's disgusting. But so you have like these industries with billions in resources keeping poor people poor. But I just went way off on a tangent here. But that is important to know that that is the truth, the reality we live in. Several billion-dollar industries um, exist. Its entire existence depends on keeping poor people poor and minorities in prison. uh, so, but to continue, for in order to have a healthy individual, you need them raised in a healthy society. And so we're kind of at this point where, you know, even the good among us are um, ill. We've been affected by society, no matter how good we've tried to be, no matter what. So, in a sense, it's a slow process of. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be slow if you build enough guillotines, but it's a process um, to where you have to have people coming together and making those changes within the community and within society at large to begin to heal society so that the kids coming up can grow up without all that weight on them. And so they can kind of be healed. And in a way, I don't know if you've ever seen a torus where it's like it's like a donut shape. And that's kind of how the individual and society works. I mean, the energy, the exchange between the individual and the society. You need healthy individuals to create and maintain a healthy society. And you need a healthy society to create and assist in the health of the individual. Like they have to work together. It's not, are you an individualist or are you whatever that, I always forget what that word is, collectivist. And you got to be both. Really, you have to put the focus on the individual because you will never get a healthy society without healthy individuals. But you also have to realize that the systems of society that make them unhealthy have to be addressed so that you can make healthy individuals. And that's kind of where it has to be. I mean, it has to be both. And so, and probably one of the most important aspects, along with, I mean, just imagine a society without the stress of hunger, where nobody is stressed about being hungry, where nobody is stressed about losing the place they live. Or if they lose the place they live, it's all right because their community's got them. They'll find them another place, probably even better, right? Um, because we look out for each other. And uh, man, and it's just wild to me how easy it would actually be to get from where we are to where we should be. Um, it's just the amount of resources in the way because the people who have exploited the system and made it the way it is, you know, they've got to go. Like I don't even consider them human. I'm sorry, they're monsters. Monsters, man. If you live in a $1 million mansion while people are starving, I'm sorry. Uh, but okay, where was I going with that now? I keep losing track. But yeah, basically, you need healthy individuals who feel safe. I mean, imagine that, like, where people feel safe to express themselves. Like, um, man, I don't. There's so much stuff I want to tie into this. That's why I keep pausing. But I'm like, oh, that would be a 2-hour tangent to bring that in. But okay. So if everybody, think of all the neurological um, issues people have just from stress. Just from stress. I mean, the poor people, like, there's probably, 50 to 100 million Americans right now who are just so stressed out. And just imagine, like, okay, so that's gone. Like, nobody in society is feeling that. Excuse me, it's the coffee. Nobody is feeling that pressure, that stress. Um, and then along with that, they feel safe expressing who they are. I mean, because that's a huge thing about being a human being, expressing your individuality, who you are, and finding out how you express yourself because it's different. Some people are great artists, some people are just mad wizards with math, and like, so they find ways within that, within science or whatever, to express. Um, Not just be, a science. Well, anyway, again, that's another huge tangent. This was just supposed to be a quick overview of my political beliefs. And it really does come down to that. Everybody deserves the basics to live. It deserves. As a human being, your value is literally that much that you deserve to not stress over food. You deserve to not stress over a place to live or, you know, clean water, all that stuff. And you also deserve to be able to express yourself because that's, again, where a lot of like those um, neurological, psychological issues start to build from when you start feeling you need to repress yourself or trying to fit yourself into this box or just trying to make it through a day at a job so you can feed yourself in a way that doesn't really allow the self-expression. And instead, the opposite, it's draining you so that even when you have the time to express yourself, it's just not there. You're like a husk. And anyway, I'm going to cut this video now because, again, everything that keeps popping into my head to talk about would be a complete separate series of videos on their own. Um, but yeah, so basically that's what it comes down to is unconditional love, uh, compassion. That is the number one thing. That is pretty much the entirety of my political philosophy is having compassion, except for people that I want to have guillotines for and maybe set on fire. I don't know. I probably shouldn't talk like that, but it is what it is.